Hello, welcome to another Gundam Battle Operation 2 video. That is the new suit, the Ga-Zowmn gunner type. And I got one match here for you in space. I believe the map is Satellite. And yeah, at the beginning of this match, actually, I was standing still for a good amount of seconds, like 10 seconds, because during the the pilot's getting inside the mobile suit segment here, I had to go take a piss, and I was like, okay, I think I can make it back in time, and I was off by 10 seconds, and thankfully the person chasing me didn't finish me off, because yeah, I would have been a very easy, like, almost kill there, depending on, like, if it was a radar general, right? But yeah, I actually kind of sort of gave my thoughts on the suit whenever I did a stream for it. You guys can check out the stream. I think I might have it in the description, the link to the stream, the late night stream, whenever on Wednesday the suit came out for me, and I didn't have to work Thursday, and that usually never happens. Like 99% of the time, it will never happen. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stream me playing the new suit, and I do think it's a pretty good suit, but how good is it exactly? Well, we'll get into that. And first and foremost, more on this match. I kind of just recorded the first good match I had with this. Not to say that I was doing terrible. I was actually doing pretty fine with the suit on most of the matches I was doing. It's just that we were losing very terribly. This was late at night, like 11 o'clock at night. I'm doing this in the morning, this video, a good amount of hours before it gets released. But yeah, I just took the first match. I was like, okay, you know what? I gotta win. And if people want to see a little bit more of this on the ground, they can go check out the late night stream, just to see more so how it can work. Yeah, I had some really just gnarly teammates, like bad teammates on the ground trying to use this suit, which is a shame because this suit can work really well with a team. But anyway, yeah, so you get to see it in space. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to the stats of this suit. I did mention this is a 450 support, and it does have 17,000 health with 27 ballistic and beam resistance. You have 0 melee resistance, 40 range strength, and 0 melee strength. You have 125 movement speed, which turns into 175 in mobile armor mode. You have 185 boost speed, which is 220 in mobile armor mode. 70 thruster gauge, and 60 turning speed, which turns into 57 in mobile armor mode. And for slots, you have 6 close, 13 mid, and 13 long range slots. And yeah, obviously it's more geared for yeah, range warfare. It is a gunner type after all. And yeah, with how its weapons are, it's definitely just something you definitely want to long range with, or even mid range with it. And for parts, I mean for builds that I've done, obviously I've done some range parts. I think in one of them I stuck on educational computer along with the range parts to do even more damage at the halfway point of a match. And I think I gave it a little bit of thruster gauge. And for some people, I've seen some people want to put some reload parts on it for the main weapon, which is fine because the main weapon is pretty useful. So yeah, there's a few builds you can do. Although for me, mostly it's just range focused, right? Get more range damage out because this thing can dish out some damage if you can get the combos off. Alright, let's go ahead and get to the primary weapons now. Starting off with, you have the Sniper Knuckle Buster, which is 1,600 damage with 6 rounds and 600 range. This is a very basic instant stun rifle, but it does have 600 range, so it is a sniper rifle, and you can move while shooting it, which is very useful. I always say this whenever it's a suit with long range instant stun like this, like with the GPO4, and I believe there's another suit I'm trying to think of at the moment that is not coming to my mind, but basically, yeah, you can move while firing this, and you can hit from a good distance, which is great. It's really great. You don't have to stand still for this. It's really great for this, and it does do some okay damage, right? Especially, with the range strength that you have. Now you have your melee weapon, the Ga-Zowmn Beam Saber, which is 2,200 damage, and this thing can actually do some, even though this thing does have 0 melee strength, it can do some decent damage to an enemy, at least. And of course, since this is the Ga-Zowmm's Beam Saber, it does have a level 2, so if you already have the level 2 Ga-Zowmn Beam Saber and you're in mix-up mode, well hey, now you can do a little bit more damage with that, so yeah, it also shares the same moveset as the Ga-Zowmn. The Beam Saber is pretty much just a Heat Hawk downswing, just straight down. No diagonal slashes, unfortunately. But hey, again, it does do some decent damage. I think we do get a few downswings off here, and you'll see how much damage it does. Now on to the secondary weapons. You have the beam gun, which is 3,000, not 3,000, 325 damage with 18% heat rate and 300 range. And yeah, this is basically the same beam gun as, I say same, but similar as the beam gun that the regular Ga-Zowmn has. Now it does take 5 shots to stun, so it's not a good stun accumulation by itself, but I believe it does work well with the main rifle against maneuver armor, right? And of course, if you do get a stun with the beam rifle, you can actually just follow up for, you know, a good amount of damage with the beam gun here. I think I've gotten consistently, like, let's say, like 2,100 damage with the beam rifle, and follow up with a few 400, 500 shots with the beam gun. So yeah, pretty nice for follow-up damage, and it does have 300 range, so it does have a little bit of a mid-range presence. So yeah, pretty nice. You have to be careful about the fire rate though. Like if you're just using it by itself against a moving enemy, it's not very good. But again, follow-up damage and for stun accumulation if somebody's charging towards you, it can work pretty well like that. Next weapon is the beam launcher, which is 550 damage per tick with a 100% heat rate and 650 range, and you do have to charge this. You can actually move while charging this, which is really helpful. Not a whole lot of suits that have these kind of Jirobi beams can do that. I think one of the few suits at 450 that can use this is the Hyzak Custom. Not Hyzak Custom, my bad. I'm really fucking that up. That is the White Rider, my bad. Sorry, I was thinking of another sniper, right? But the White Rider can move while charging its Jirobi beam, and so can this suit. And that's really helpful for, you know, changing positions. You're not just stuck in one area charging a massive beam that everybody can see. It's not like the higher cost suits with the full armor 7th or the Phaz, where you have to sit still for 20 seconds, right? This one, it does have a decent charge up time, and you can move while charging it, and it does do good amount of damage if you can fire it all. I believe it does a total of 5 ticks of damage, and it takes 2 or 3 ticks to get a stun, but it is pretty rapid, so obviously you can just try and get a stun initially like that, right? And of course, if you're quick enough on the ball, you can actually follow up with a beam rifle shot for a stun afterwards, after the Jirobi, which can be, again, really good damage buildup. So yeah, you can probably start with the beam launcher and then follow up with your knuckle buster. Or, you know, I've seen some people, since this thing doesn't instant stun, you can technically, I say technically, it's probably you probably want to, because it's kind of funny. This thing's banner title is you plan on shooting your allies, huh? Or your allies too. Which is funny because this thing doesn't instant stun, the Jirobi can shoot through your teammates and not affect them. So that is actually a legitimate strategy you can do with this because of that. So that's actually really helpful. You know, in hallways, of course. And hey, before we move on to your mobile armor mode weapons, let's go ahead and see what we got so far for this match. It's a timeout, good works all around, and let's see what we got going on here today. And again, this is like the first legitimate win I had for late night, so I was just like, okay, whatever I got. Hey, top assist, that's nice. I believe we didn't get 4th place, 2 and 2, so yeah, I kind of did alright in terms of assists, and you know, 85 damage, that's fine, right? So I'm fine with that. I did beat the enemy support by a lot, which is unfortunate because he has a jammer fin, and that can be a little bit tough to play in space. But yeah, now we're on to the mobile armor mode weapons. Of course, this thing can transform, and you do have the beam gun ×2, which is 225 damage per shot with a 20% heat rate and 300 range. And yeah, it's basically just the beam gun that you already have, but now you have 2. Of course, you know, it does less damage, but technically you do more damage per shot because you're firing 2. And yeah, that is very good following up after stuns. Again, it will start melting people's health if you can focus fire on somebody. So pretty nice to use. I can't remember exactly the stun accumulation on it, but you know, for me, it's just one of those weapons I want to use after a stun. Next weapon is the beam launcher transformed, which is 2,300 damage with 100% heat rate and 650 range. You do have to charge to use this, and I don't know why I wanted to say, but at least you can move while charging it, which, you know, you're mobile on remote, so you're always moving. But yeah, this thing doesn't use a Jirobi beam. It just does a big stun. And yeah, it's a pretty nasty stun setup, where if you start with this stun, you can almost pretty much immediately follow up for a stun lock with the Knuckle Buster. So that's 2,300 damage. Let's say if you're fighting a general, that can be 3,000, 4,000, depending on your range build, followed up by another shot from your Sniper Knuckle Buster, which I should say you can use that weapon at the same time as, or you can use that weapon while transformed. However, it doesn't have separate ammo. It's the same gun. And I should also mention that the beam gun and the beam launcher, you can boost while using those in transformation mode. So that's actually kind of nice. You can't do that with the Sniper Knuckle Buster, I believe. But yeah, nice weapons. And now for skill, you have Radar level 3, you have Scope level 3, Data Link, Aerospace Gimbal level 2, so you can tilt up and down in space further. You have Scouting Device. I believe that's where you can see your radar while you're scoped in. You have Anti-Jamming level 2, which can be kind of helpful against suits that have jamming, like the Freet Noct. You have AMBAC level 2, Force Injectors, so that means you can boost back and forth, which is kind of helpful, especially helpful in space. You have Backbinder Cushioning level 3, so you take less damage on your backside there. You have Transform. Yeah, of course you can transform. You know, your transformation suit. And of course, like every other suit in mobile armor mode, you have Ram and Blast Stabilizer. But you don't have Shock Dampeners because for some reason supports don't want to get Shock Dampeners in transformation mode. Whatever, devs, sure, go ahead. You can tell how tired I am making this. But yeah, that is the Ga-Zowmn gunner type, and I gotta say, I think it's a pretty good suit. A lot of its weapons have, you know, there's a clear use for these weapons. They can combo off of each other pretty well. The only issue is that at close range, you're kind of boned if you get stunned in melee because you have 0 melee resistance. But even if you manage to get a stun at close range, you still have a decent dealing melee weapon. And depending on how your battle will go in a close range situation, you can potentially get a stun using stun accumulation with your beam rifle into your beam gun. So it's not completely defenseless, right? And of course, the transformation mode does have a really nasty combo setup as well, from the beam launcher straight into the Sniper Knuckle Buster, and then follow up with the beam gun ×2. So yeah, it has really nice combos, really nice damage output. It's a pretty solid suit, right? And of course, yeah, for pros and cons, obvious cons is that this thing just 0 melee resistance. Any raid will just walk up to you if they get a stun on you and just fucking murder you. It's just that easy. You do have somewhat of a defense with stun accumulation, but it's not, you know, it's not guaranteed, of course, especially if it's instant stun raid. Another con is this one I kind of just levy towards supports I can transform. No shock dampeners transformation. That just makes it really easy to stun you out of the air if you're trying to escape or trying to blast somebody with a combo. It makes it kind of hard to do the flying combo if you're fighting somebody. But if you have teammates around that are obviously, you know, doing their job at doing a front line, then you can just come up with them or behind them while they're fighting the person and just, you know, do your combo that way. And I think I forgot to mention this for the beam launcher. Your mobile suit form is that it can penetrate, but that probably should be obvious for a Jirobi beam like that. And now for pros, I think I kind of already went over the pros here, but yeah, the weapons are nice. The fact that it does have transformation, even though it doesn't have shock dampeners, that does allow the suit to change sniping positions because, you know, this thing does have great range, which is another pro. This thing has really good range on its weapons. You basically are a very mobile sniper, which is kind of unique for a lot of these 450, because, you know, 450 has a lot of different supports that are pretty good, and, you know, some different snipers around, you know, 400, 450. You know, you have something like the Gunner Gundam, the Gem Sniper 2, you have the Hyzak Custom, you know, in terms of weapons that have sniping potential. This suit is feels a lot different than those suits because, of course, it has the long-range Derobi. It has a sniper rifle that you can move while firing it. 600 range is really nice. And of course, if things get hairy, there is a possibility you can transform to change sniping positions or, add even more damage for your team. So, yeah. And you saw here, this was a 500 match, and I did pretty well for myself, 4th place. Yeah, I'll say that this suit is pretty good, and if you do want to roll for it, I do recommend you roll for it. I think it has a lot of advantages going for it. And I think even if they made a level 2, it'd still do fine at 500. As you saw here, I did fine with 450. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want. I'd really appreciate it. And type up in the comment section how you feel about the Ga-Zowmn gunner type. Do you like it? Do you hate it? And yeah, like I said, I think it's a pretty nice suit. I do like my sniper suits, and yeah, this is no different. I think it's pretty good. That's pretty much it. And yeah, if you guys want to roll for it, go ahead. And hey, I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. I kind of mentioned that in the Pains-giving video, but yeah, I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving, and maybe have a good day today as well. I think today we'll be doing our spectator stream, so hopefully you guys are there for that, and we get to see some more good things from the Ga-Zowmn sniper here, and even some of the buff suits, because like the Bolonok, the Zeta A1, the Unicorn was nerfed. There's a few changes that happen with a lot of these suits that can be interesting to see what will happen in a match involving those suits, and we'll see how strong they can be. But yeah, that'll be it, and I will see you guys later. Bye.